Good evening, I'm Emma Jane Vere and this is Television Tonga News. In the headlines, the Honourable Prime Minister commends the support and assistance of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to the Ha'apai recovery efforts. A rescue crew on its way to bring back a stranded fishing liner. A couple charged of manslaughter by negligence released on bail. And the Ewa Sea Transportation Council strives to complete all requirements of the Marine Department regarding the MV Onemato. These and more stories, including news from the Pacific, sports, world and the weather information later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. The Honourable Prime Minister, Lord Duvano, commended the support and assistance from the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to victims in Ha'apai after it was devastated by Tropical Cyclone Ian. Here's Whanonga Veikoso with more on that story.
The Honourable Prime Minister made the statement in a special gathering which was held over the weekend for the Church Youth Group. The program was also held to welcome the first visit from a member of the Church 12 Apostles, Elder Neil Anderson, to Nuku'alofa. In a speech from the Prime Minister, he thanked the leaders and all members of the Church for their continuous support to the government.
President and councillors of various stakes in Tongatapu, young men and young women performing in tonight's cultural evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very honoured to have been invited to join you here tonight in welcoming Elder Neil Anderson, a presiding member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and also it's a pleasure to see my friend Elder James Hamula here tonight with us. He's also a regular visitor to the island. Tonight's event is very heartening for me, and I'm sure it provides an enormous sense of pride for us all as it reminds us of the core value of being a Tongan. And that is the four golden covenants between God and King George I, which is the four values, the core values as a guided behavior that will reflect our being Tongan and our very form of democracy. And that is 1, respect, whakaapa-apa, 2, royalty, mamahi mea, humility, lototo, and the 4th, reciprocity, tauhiwa. This is the very pillar and values of which the Tongan way of life is built on, which provided stability, healing, transformation, restoration of peace, and harmonious relationships in the Tongan intricate network of relationship and way of life.
This is Elder Anderson's first visit to the kingdom, whereas it's uncommon for apostles to make a visit to Tonga. Elder Anderson told Television Tonga News he is pleased to be in Nuku'alofa and meet with the church members. He adds that they are holding intercessional prayers for the people of Ha'apai. Elder Anderson is accompanied by his wife, Kathy, and they are expected to return to the United States, where they are based later this week. For Television Tonga News, I'm Whanonga Veikoso.
A Tongan man was charged today with murder. This is in regards to the death of an Asian man in 2012 whose body was discovered in an electronic shop on the one-way road. The suspect is remanded in police custody. According to the principal magistrate, Salis Mafi, if a person who's accused of murder seeks bail, the decision lies with the Supreme Court. In a separate case, no suspect has been charged for a homicide case which occurred at Halaleva. This is in regards to the death of another Asian man whose body was found unconscious in his shop last Friday. Many women have expressed their support for a delegated seat for women in Parliament. This is raised in various parliamentary outreach programs which were held last week. One such program was held in the Ma'awhanga district. Anasiu Falekaono was there and filed this report.
On Friday, a parliamentary outreach program was held at St. Joseph Hall at Maofanga. A majority of the participants were women. One participant at the program, Anissa Sevele, says she supports the drive to boost women's participation in parliament. However, she believes that the current parliamentary system is satisfactory. Tonga is very different compared to the rest of the Pacific Islands. There are many intelligent women who are very capable of being elected into parliament. I think women should follow the proper procedure of being elected and not just go in because there's a delegated seat for women. Otherwise, that woman will not be fit to represent the voice of all women. The first female parliamentarian to Tonga's Legislative Assembly, Babiloa Bloomfield Foliaki, says there is a need to be equal representation of gender in parliament. It is very important to have a very good people's representative in parliament. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, as long as they represent the people well. Meanwhile, Clerk of the House Gloria Boleo says from the various outreach programs held in the villages, many of the women participants said they believe a woman's role is in home and not in parliament. The parliamentary outreach program aims to boost the active participation of both men and women in parliament. The meeting in Maofanga was attended by the Speaker of the Parliament, Lord Whakafanua, Member of Parliament for Tongatapu Constituency No. 4, Esther Lipulu, and many women. It is funded by the Australian Aid in collaboration with the UN Women and UNDP. A practice parliament for women will be held from the 7th to the 11th of April.
A combined group from the Tonga Police and His Majesty's Armed Forces were dispatched today to rescue a stranded boat and its crew. Tonga Police says the fishing liner called the Odyssey and its 4 crew members were reportedly stranded 120 miles to the southeast of Tongatapu. The New Zealand Rescue Coordination Centre informed the local authorities of a distress call from the Odyssey fishing vessel. A rescue crew was then dispatched on the Voya Savea patrol boat after 8 o'clock last night. Reports say the stranded vessel face battery or engine problems. No details have been confirmed about the crew members, but it's believed to be a Tongan crew. The Voya Savea is expected back tomorrow from the rescue mission. The Ewa Sea Transportation Council strives to complete all requirements of the Marine Department regarding the MV Onemato. This is before it can resume normal operations. Here's Linda Filiai with the details.
The chairman of Ewa Sea Transportation Council, Dr. Daniela Fusmalohi, says the MV Onemato has ceased all inter-ferry operations to Ewa almost 2 weeks ago before making one trip to Ewa last week. Its operation were then stopped again last Saturday until it met the necessary requirements. Such requirements include the license and details of crew members, to name a few.
We need to follow the instructions from the Ministry of Marine to make sure that instructions that they have been giving us, we have been following them closely, and to ensure that we meet the standards. And in a few days, they'll be coming back to check the work that we have been doing to ensure safety and to ensure that everything is complete with regards to the instructions that they've given us. For the time being, the services to Ewa is being made by other vessels, and this is low season as well. So our services will be interrupted because of our work with the Ministry of Marine, and there are certain other things that we need to improve and also to ensure that it is the fact that it is complying with what the Ministry of Marine wants us to do.
Dr. Fusmalohi says they carry out necessary maintenance works to the vessel, including its wheel. The Marines Department has given them 2 weeks, ending this Wednesday, to complete all requirements.
The Ministry of Marine, they wanted us to work on emergency steering system to ensure it's working perfectly and to make sure that other areas like fire safety, also technical aspect like life rafts and life jackets are complete and to ensure that all these aspects, and also the paperwork with regards to the crew. Well, I think sea safety is very important, and we need to take seriously the instructions from the Ministry of Marine to make sure that the services are not endangered by not following the specific instructions that they've given us, especially in sea safety.
The MV Onematos operation has been cancelled for almost 2 weeks.
From the Magistrate Court today, a 28-year-old mother and her partner, 32-year-old father, were released on bail this morning. The two accused are Iteni Latu and Siulolovao Mafi from Whangaloto. The couple has been charged for manslaughter by negligence in regards to the death of their 6-month-old infant. The principal magistrate, Salis Mafi, ruled this morning to submit Iteni Latu's passport to the court. They were released on bail of 1,000 pa'anga each until they reappear in court next month, March 31st. Still from court, the principal magistrate, Salis Mafi, this morning also ruled for 2 people who are accused of theft and housebreak to be remanded in police custody until March 3rd. The accused are Sione Tapaulakai from Kolofo'o and Sione Lavulo Kapaivai from Halaleva. The principal magistrate says it appears that other people were involved in this case and police investigation into the matter continues. According to the police prosecutor, Inspector Memalatu, the pair alleged of the theft of 5 cows and a horse from an area in the Western District. Still from court, the principal magistrate, Salis Mafi, has also ordered the prosecutor to provide evidence against an accused who's alleged of incest. This is made after Halatoa Lomu and Fatongi Se'elui from Batangata appeared in the magistrate court because of this accusation. The court ruled for Lomu to be placed in police custody previously, but he had escaped the authorities. The principal magistrate ruled for the evidence or witnesses to be brought before the court on Monday. And in court, a father and his 2 sons will reappear in the magistrate court March 25th. They're alleged of the possession of illicit drugs. Lopeti Gampeli Tofa and his son Lopeti Gampeli Ramsey are alleged for possession of illicit drugs. His other son, Isleli Tofa Ramsey, is alleged of cultivating illicit drugs. This is a result of a search warrant carried out in their home at Haveluloto. And in Fiji, a Tongan woman was remanded by Magistrate Chaitanya Lachman yesterday for not providing suitable surety, although she was given ample time. Fiji Village News says that Tupo Falepuono was charged with making off without payment. She is alleged to have stayed at a Suva hotel and accumulated a bill of more than 11,000 Fijian dollars. She is alleged to have stayed at the hotel between December 20th of last year and the 19th of this month. Fiji Village says the woman reappears in the Magistrate Court today. Monetary assistance of more than 7,000 ba'anga from the Tongan community in Australia was presented to the Tonga Red Cross Society this afternoon. This is to support ongoing recovery efforts for the Hapai group of islands. Salamo Fulivai tells you more.
A member of Tongan community living in Melbourne, Australia, Tuifu Akau Ola, presented a check to the treasurer of the Tonga Red Cross Society, Aloma Johansson, and the Secretary General, Sione Taumoi Folau. We held a radiothon when we heard about the damage Tropical Cyclone Ian caused in Ha'apai. We raised money for the Ha'apai people and we do hope it helps. The Tonga Red Cross Secretary General says the money will help meet other needs. Plenty of food has been shipped over to Ha'apai, so the food supply there is satisfactory and will be enough for the next 3 months. At the moment, we're thinking of building temporary shelters for the people so they can move into it. It's time they move out of the temporary shelters and tents into something more permanent. Housing remains one of the pressing needs of the people in Ha'apai after more about 800 homes were destroyed by the cyclone, displacing many families. For Television Tonga News, I'm Salamo Fulivai.
That's the local news. Sports is up next with Pierre Ollier.